Hey, what's up, guys? We are just 15 hours removed from WWE Money in the Bank. From WWE's Money in the Bank. Now, first and foremost, I just want to go out and say that just about everything I predicted had happened. There's only two matches that I predicted that didn't happen the way how I predicted it. And so so now that Money in the Bank is all said and done, I want to go ahead and talk about everything that transpired. And so this is my WWE Money in the Bank 2016 review. Now, I'm not going to waste any time here. And of course, as always, I never go in order with the matches. So let's get started. So, first up, you got the Tag Team Championship match. You got the New Day versus the Vaudevillains versus Big Cash and Enzo Amore and the Bullet Club and the Vaudevillains. Now, this match right here was a pretty good match. It was a pretty good match to start off the show. Every team had pretty much had their time in this match. Now, the only thing that I will say that would have made this match a lot more better is if they had had the New Day do a lot more, because you can tell that as the popularity continued to gain from these other teams, that if they don't take the titles off the New Day any sooner, this is not going to be any good for the New Day. I mean, the New Day has been the tag team champions at this point longer than Paul London and Brian Kitcher. They've already beaten their record. And as much as I love the New Day, and as much as I'm proud of them being the tag team champions for this long, you start to wonder how much longer they're going to be champions with the amount of popularity that these other teams are gaining. And so this match just proved it right here, because the main teams that shined in this match was every team but the New Day. The New Day had their times where they did stuff, but really, I give the most credit to Big Cash and his partner for what they did in this match. I got to give Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows some credit for what they did in this match. Vaudevillains had a short period where they did some stuff in this match, but in the end, the New Day retained their tag team titles, and that's all there is to it. Like I said, this match was a pretty good match. It wasn't, one of the very best matches. It was just pretty good for the amount of time it had. I think if they had booked it a little bit different, it could have been more effective as a tag team match. And I think the biggest reasons why people probably wouldn't have liked this match is simply because of the New Day retained their tag team titles. But for me, I'm completely fine with that. It's just a matter of you start to wonder how much longer is the New Day going to be tag team champions. So, next match, you got Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Now, this match, as well as the match I was just talking about, also happened exactly how I predicted. I said Apollo Crews would most likely Apollo Crews is going to win this match. And I'm going to just say that this match wasn't necessarily one of Sheamus' best matches. And I think the ending could have been a lot better had he not beat him the way he did. The match was okay for it to be on a card. It wasn't one of those matches that you would be excited about. This was a good push for Apollo Crews, because this is like the first time he actually has had a real big opponent to face. And this was actually Apollo Crews' first pay-per-view that he was in, if I'm not mistaken. So, this match was pretty good. Okay, I'm just put it that way. I'm not going to say that this match was, like I said, one of the best matches, and it certainly wasn't one of Sheamus' best matches. But, you know, they gave Apollo Crews his time to shine, and I'm glad that Apollo Crews won, because it was really no need for them to have Sheamus win. Apollo Crews needed this win more than Sheamus did, and Apollo Crews rise victorious against Sheamus. It's just the way how he pinned Sheamus. I didn't really like how they ended it like that. But, you know, Apollo Crews did do a decent job in this match, no doubt about it. I will say Apollo Crews is stepping up, but they've got to do a lot more if they want his character to really rise. And so this was a good start to that, having him face, you know, a guy like Sheamus at Money in the Bank. Next up, you got Braun Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Must I really even talk about this match? All I'm going to say is this. I hope, and I really hope, that this was the last that we've seen of Dolph Ziggler and Braun Corbin. Ever since this man debuted the night after WrestleMania, all they've been having him feud with is Dolph Ziggler. And you begin to wonder exactly when they're going to get it through their heads that the crowd is sick and tired of seeing this. And when are they going to get it through their head that Braun Corbin could be so much of a bigger star if you just get him away from this feud and actually make him look like a monster? Because in my opinion, what ruined this feud in the first place was how Dolph Ziggler had won at the very beginning of the feud. But you try to make this guy look so much like a monster, but you got him losing back to Dolph Ziggler. And then he finally gets a win here at Money in the Bank. Wow. Just wow. Oh, newsflash, no one cares because we're sick and tired of seeing it. So this was just one of those matches where you really didn't care who won. All you cared about was just to see it end. Honestly, I hated the fact that this match was even on the card. But, you know, I'm going to just say that this match was, it was just something that was, like I said, I'll put that in the okay mark as well, because it's just something that we've seen it so many times that we're just really tired of it, and we already pretty much knew what the results were going to be. So, of course, Braun Corbin defeats Dolph Ziggler at Money in the Bank, and I hope that this is the last we've seen of them, because if it continue and I make videos like these, I'm just going to completely skip the match, because it's just really getting to that point where it's completely getting irritating. So next up, you have the Money in the Bank match itself. You got Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens versus Cesaro versus Sami Zayn in the Money in the Bank ladder match at Alberto Del Rio. Now, this what's funny about this match is that I had predicted that either Kevin Owens was going to win or Dean Ambrose. Kevin Owens was my number one pick. Dean Ambrose was my second pick. And I have to say that this was a really good Money in the Bank match for the time that they had and for what they did. Now, it's funny because the match, the way how it ended, was exactly how I had predicted, because you had Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose fighting for the Money in the Bank briefcase at the last minute of the match. So if Kevin Owens had won, that would have been my number one pick. Dean Ambrose was my number two pick. So that was a really good match. Oh, and I forgot to mention Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was also in this match. Chris Jericho, I really have to say that Chris Jericho is getting to the point where he just needs to step aside. And I'm not even talking about taking hiatuses or disappearing from the scene for a long time, but he's just getting to the point where he really needs to think about how much longer is he going to continue to wrestle, because it's really, his age is really showing nowadays, and it's just not the same anymore. He's not the Chris Jericho that we used to know. He's not the same guy. You don't have to agree with me on this, but he's not the same Chris Jericho that was in his prime. Definitely way over his prime at this point. And so, this match was good. I'll definitely say that this was a good Money in the Bank ladder match. Every guy gave it their all. Every guy had their moment to shine. So that's something that I really like about this match, is that everybody got their moment to shine. Everybody got their moment in this match. Everybody almost had the opportunity to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, but in the end, Dean Ambrose prevailed, and he became the Mr. Money in the Bank. And what a match it was. Like I said, it was just so good. I really enjoyed every bit of it. I liked looking at the match. It was a really good match. Like I said, Kevin Owens really gave it his all out there. Sami Zayn did as much as he could. Everybody, like I said, had their moment to shine in this match, and that's what's important, is that everybody had their moment to shine. So, Dean Ambrose wins the Money in the Bank and becomes Mr. Money in the Bank. Next up, we have the Divas tag team match. Now, I'm not going to really go fully into detail about this match. Hold on, guys, real quick. I'm not going to really go into full detail about this match because, it wasn't that bad, it wasn't something that was completely horrible. But at the same time, first and foremost, I really will be glad when I see Charlotte lose her title. But this was a tag team match. You had Natalya and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte and Donna Brooks. Now, the way how this match went, it was pretty good, I guess. It wasn't necessarily bad. It could have had more time, but at the end of it, the whole thing with Natalya turning heel, you just start to wonder, what the heck is Divas roles anymore? In the Divas division, it seems like they never stay face for that long. They never stay heel for that long. It's just kind of like they always switching back and forth. You don't know what the heck they're going to do, because that's how crazy it is with Divas division. And so for Natalya to turn like that, you just question yourself why. What was the whole point? Why did she do this? Because, this match, you ended up having Charlotte Banks. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You ended up having Charlotte and Donna Brooks defeat Natalya and Becky Lynch, and because Natalya was mad at Becky Lynch, she went on to attack Becky Lynch. Like I said, this match was actually pretty good. I'm not going to sit there and say that it was a bad match, because it wasn't. Actually, the match was pretty good for the time it had. I just didn't like the fact that, they turned Natalya heel for no reason necessary at all, because you already got Donna Brooks who's heel, and you already got Charlotte who's heel, which is the champion. And you guys want to actually fight to take the title from her, not to coexist with her while she's champion. So it just makes you wonder the direction and route that they're really trying to go with this Diva division, and if the draft is going to make it any better or just make it worse. Because considering that they've had Sasha Banks away from the square circle since WrestleMania, this stuff has been really getting questionable to exactly what they're doing with the Divas division. Charlotte has not... Oh, God, Sasha Banks has not been in the main roster for a very long time. And, I just don't know what's going on. I just cannot wait until this title gets taken away from Charlotte. So, Charlotte and Donna Brooks, their team, defeat Natalya and Becky Lynch in a match where, it was pretty good, I guess. Next match on the card, you got Titus O'Neil versus Rusev. Now, this match happened exactly how I predicted it. I said Rusev was going to retain the United States title. I will give it to Titus O'Neil on a certain level because Titus O'Neil did take it to Rusev. I got to give credit to how they booked Titus O'Neil in this match. He did kind of take it to Rusev in some ways in this match. Now, the ending was exactly how I said it. He was going to tap out, he was going to pass out, and he tapped out, and he tapped out quick. And I knew Rusev was not going to lose his United States title in his very first title defense coming out of winning it, because he had already defended his title on the episode of SmackDown. But this is his first title defense on a pay-per-view since winning it against Kalisto at Extreme Rules. So I just knew that Titus O'Neil was not going to take it from Rusev, and I knew it for a completely different reason why other people knew it, because they said he wasn't going to take it because of his interaction with Vince McMahon. I disagree. That has nothing to do with why he wasn't going to take the title. It has nothing to do with what he did to Vince McMahon. I just believed that they were not going to have Titus O'Neil win the United States Championship. But like I said, based on what I've seen, I'll give Titus O'Neil a little credit because he actually did take it to Rusev. You know, Rusev didn't just manhandle him in the match. But, you know, in the end, it was the same results as it usually is in Rusev matches. Rusev retains the United States Championship in a crazy fashion. So, you know, Rusev retains the United States title. This is something pretty much everybody already expected. No one actually even really thought that Titus O'Neil was going to win this match. And most people had a completely different reason of why they believed he was going to lose in the first place. So, of course, Rusev retains his United States Championship against Titus O'Neil. Next up is the main event. So you have... Oh, I'm so sorry. Next up is John Cena versus AJ Styles. Now, for this match, I'm just going to be quite honest. A lot of people had claimed that, you know, Cena was going to bury AJ Styles. And for a match to get this much hype, for a match to have this much prestige, for a match to have this much build-up, I cannot believe the ending that they decided to go in this match. I mean, this match was actually getting somewhere. This match was actually good for what I had seen. And then they mess around and had AJ Styles defeat John Cena, but he didn't defeat him clean. And that's what irritates me, is the fact that they had him beat him with the help of the Bullet Club. Why couldn't they just have him beat him clean? I don't get why they're trying to force people to hate AJ Styles, and this is not the fashion to go. I just don't understand it. You know, the WWE and the way how Vince McMahon comes up with things is absolutely ridiculous sometimes, the ideas they be coming up with. This right here just blew my mind to watch this, because they had a really good match going. This was an incredible match. I actually liked this match with AJ Styles and Cena, mainly because they gave AJ Styles the opportunity to shine in this match. He nearly took it to Cena throughout the match.